Good Guys Tires and Auto Repair. Also brought to you by Farmers Insurance. Visit your local Farmers agent at farmersinsurance.com. Winton's Vista and Professional Pharmacies, where for over 78 years we've delivered. Central Valley Community Bank, providing common sense solutions since 1980. And by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Here once again, Paul Leffler and Randy Rosenblum.
Crowd of 7,054 heading home happy tonight. They have watched Fresno State win its third straight game in blowout fashion over Cal State Bakersfield, 79-49 the final. The Bulldogs dominated the glass, tying a season high with 52 rebounds tonight. Cal State Bakersfield had just 26 boards, so they doubled up the runners there. And when you talk in terms of points in the paint, Randy, they more than doubled them. They almost tripled them. Points in the paint tonight, a battle that goes Fresno State's way by a tally of 48-18. Points in the paint brought to you by Fresno Ag Hardware. Score all your home improvement needs from A to Z at Fresno Ag Hardware. We look at players individually. A lot of times coaches look at players by position groupings. For instance, they'll look at Greg Smith, Ned Golubovich, and Bracken Funk and say those three guys as a trio need to contribute X amount of points. Well, tonight, those three guys contributed 37 points to Fresno State's cause, as well as 23 rebounds. That's some pretty good production by your post players against a Cal State Bakersfield team they didn't think could hang with them down low, and it proved to be correct.
It's nice to get a game like this for the Bulldogs. You know, you had this rugged competition against a physically imposing New Mexico State team, and you're able to eke out a victory. Then you play a Louisiana Tech team that was fired up and played well for 20 minutes before they stalled, and Fresno State really put it into high gear. Then you play a team that's limited inside, and Fresno State did abuse them down low. And Greg Smith, Golubovich, Steed, Benny Rhodes when he was in there, Bracken Funk, they all had their way. They were able to get shots. You know, I don't think there's too many negatives here. You got everybody involved. The team's happy. You win easy. The 19 turnovers is somewhat excusable because of the kind of game it was. Not that you like it. There was one stretch there where the coach was furious when they turned it over 4 or 5 times in a short span. But again, as I mentioned near the end of the show, you know, it's understandable when you're rotating everybody and you got a big lead and you let down and the different combinations are out there. But all in all, when you out-rebound a team by double, 52-26, you're going to win by big numbers. And there's an ease about you when you know you're going to go get the ball off the glass. You know, we've seen other teams do that to the Bulldogs. It was interesting to watch Fresno State, knowing if they put up a 3 and they missed it, or, you know, took a difficult shot, they were able to go up and get the ball. And a lot of that was Greg Smith, because he was the one that set the tone early on the glass.
And he may just be our player of the game, but he's got some competition tonight. Maybe most impressively, the Dogs did it all without their leading scorer, Kevin Olekebe, who sat this game out, nursing 2 injured hands, suffered in that hard foul, a flagrant foul, the last time out against Louisiana Tech. Steve Cleveland hopes to have Olekebe back Thursday night at Boise State. And what's a really big game for the Bulldogs, it could get them to 500 overall, 500 in the conference, and give them a chance to maybe lock up one of those top 4 seeds in the WAC tournament that would earn them a bye. That'll be decided down the stretch for Fresno State. But tonight, the Dogs, 4 players in double figures. Fresno State shot 50% from the floor, 31 of 62. They made 4 of 14 three-point shots. For the third straight game, they were outstanding at the foul line, 87%, 13 of 15 there. Bracken Funk, a perfect 4 for 4 at the stripe, had 11 points, 5 rebounds. Ned Golubovich was 3 of 3 at the line. He had 14 points, 5 rebounds, as he made 5 of 8 field goal attempts as well. Golubovich was the leading scorer with 14. Tim Steed had 13 points, all in the first half. Also finished with a game-high 3 blocks for the Dogs. Greg Smith, a double-double, 12 points and a career-high 13 rebounds. Played just 25 minutes tonight, but also added 4 assists, a block, and 2 steals. So the WAC Player of the Week playing like that. Steven Shep, 4 points, 6 assists against 3 turnovers, also had a steal. 9 points for Garrett Johnson, who had 7 rebounds, 2 assists, no turnovers, and 2 steals. I thought Garrett Johnson's 22 minutes tonight, Randy, were about as efficient as any Bulldog in uniform.
Yeah, he was very solid. You know, didn't have a great shooting night, but over and above that, you're right. He had a complete game, played strong at the defensive end with the 7 rebounds. Just looked very good. He was in the flow. He was looking for his teammates. Again, he wasn't knocking down the shots like we've seen him do in the past. But all in all, Garrett was very solid, and you like what you saw from Johnson.
And those 7 rebounds are a new career high for Garrett Johnson, the sophomore from Pomona. 7 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal for Tyler Johnson, who threw in an alley-oop, courtesy of Stephen Shepp. Jonathan Wills played 22 minutes tonight, maybe built some confidence as he finished with 2 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. 5 points for Benny Rose to go with 4 boards. John Ryan, 2 points and 1 rebound. And now Steve Cleveland, ready to talk about it all. He's at the post-game podium, looking over all those numbers I just gave you. He's going to start talking any moment now.
Well, you don't get many nights like this where everyone has a chance to play and participate. And I think as a coach, you kind of relish these opportunities, especially later in the year when guys have been practicing hard and sometimes don't get the minutes that you'd like to be able to play them. And so tonight it was nice to be able to do that. You know, in defense of Bakersfield a little bit, they've been a little bit road weary. The one thing about being a Division I team in transition and going through it, being an independent, you play a lot of road games, and they've been on the road a great deal, and you can see it in their shooting. I mean, this is the same. This team did, they beat San Jose at home, and they took Idaho to overtime, and it'll be a different experience, I'm sure, when we go down there. But I think we caught them at a time when they were a little leg weary, and you know, they just didn't shoot the ball real well. You know, and we did a better job in the second half of gapping. The one thing they do a nice job of is really attacking off the dribble. And we were much better the second half. I was not real pleased with the middle of the second half, just the way that we got really casual with the ball. We got 17 or 18